Arsenal, thank you so much, because in today's video we're going to be talking a lot about Obi Martin. Right now he's 20 minutes into his Manchester United sort of debut, well, not necessarily debut, but first start for the academy, and within 14 minutes he got a hat-trick. Within 5 minutes he scored 2 goals. Manchester United have an absolute monster of a player on their hands, all for free from Arsenal. He left Arsenal because he wanted to join Man United. He felt the academy route was better. He was going to get more game time, which is absolutely fair enough. So we're going to talk about Obi Martin's debut. We're going to talk about Manchester United's transfer plans. There has been some secret manager talks between INEOS and other managers as well. There is an update on Ahmad. There is some leaks coming out. And I'm going to be honest, I want to talk about Obi Martin first. I want to talk about the other news first, because there's a lot of leaks coming out about them planning to sack Ten Hag, this and that. But all I'm saying is I think all the news about them planning to sack Ten Hag, this and that, is just guesswork. I think nobody knows. And I think because the move's negative at United, people are just writing lists of stories that Ten Hag's about to be sacked. Maybe he's about to be sacked. But we've heard this so many times that I don't know the truth in it. So I want to get into the other news, and then I'll get right into the manager news. So what was said? So this was said earlier today. Obi Martin starts the Manchester United's under-18s, blah, 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 against Nottingham Forest, 12 o'clock. I checked Twitter, because I was going to watch the match, but I was like, let me record this video first. I checked Twitter, 10 minutes in, he scored 2 goals. 5 minutes in, he scored 2 goals. 14 minutes in, he scored a hat-trick. By the end of this video, we might have scored another 3 goals. I don't know. 2 goals in 5 minutes. I'm like, whoa, wait. He scored a hat-trick. A 16-year-old kid on his under-18s debut for United, well, not debut, first start, sorry, my bad, has got an absolute hat-trick, and maybe he's going to score a 4th, maybe he's going to score a 5th, I don't know. We got him from Arsenal for free. We got him from Arsenal for free. We've got to play here. I'm generally, maybe we're hyping him up, but I don't know, like, you know how Tottenham got Mikey Moore and he's starting to play for the first team and looking really good? Look, the striker role for our first team is going to be different. He's going to be living off scraps. But I generally think, if we get a bit of an injury crisis, I think he could be thrown in, because what Man United said to Obi Martin was, you're the third choice after Hoyland and Xerxes. He and B and Shearer in the pecking order. Man United said to Obi Martin, you are the third choice striker. So I generally think he could get some minutes for United. I generally do. I don't know if he'll get some this season, but because you don't know, like, he'll have to have a few games, and if he keeps up this in his next games and keeps up his scoring numbers for the United Academy, I'm confident he will. Because I remember Mason Greenwood got insane goal numbers for the United Academy, and he sort of broke through in that season for Ollie. But this guy's numbers were on track to be a lot better than Greenwood's. They were a lot better than Greenwood's in the Arsenal Academy. And we remember how good Mason Greenwood was when we had Martial, Rashford, Greenwood. You know, in lockdown, when that front three was firing. This guy, like, his numbers in the academy are even better than Greenwood's. He's even more clinical. Like, we might have an absolute monster of a player on our hands. And I think that's so exciting. The coaches must be wowed. I'm going to refresh my feed every 5 minutes in case he gets a 4th goal. Honestly, I am. Absolutely ridiculous. And talking of young talent, Man United want to bring in some more young talent. And the one they're looking at the moment is Chris Rigg, a 17-year-old midfielder from Sunderland. They like Naipan, who's obviously playing in Norway for Rosenborg. They like Dibbling, who's obviously at Southampton. They like Franco Mastuano, I don't know, River Plate midfielder. INEOS are looking at some really good young players. They're really interested in bringing young players and young talent to United. And believe it or not, I think we've got some really talented young players at this club. I really do think we've got some really brilliant, really talented young players at this club. And I just hope that the manager can get the best out of them and utilise it more, because we're not seeing that at the moment. I don't think players are being profiled right. I don't think we get the best out of our players, and that's on Ten Hag. He's got to, get the best out of our players, create a sustainable system. We need the best environment for all these young players to come into to get the best out of them. But I'm at the point with Man United now where I just think we should go full Barcelona and just start playing the kids. I really, really do at the moment. But let's talk about the manager situation. Let's talk about everything going on with regards to the manager. And it was said that Manchester United have held secret talks with a number of managers over replacing Erik ten Hag, and that Manchester United spoke with Xavi 10 days ago after a 4-man delegation led by Omar Brada flew to Barcelona. So if I'm going to be totally honest, one, is it a bit disrespectful of INEOS to be going and talking to other managers again while Ten Hag is still employed? Yeah, because that's what they did to him in the summer. If they're not going to sack him, why are you talking to other managers? But 2, what can INEOS do? Maybe they are talking to other managers. Maybe they want to make sure that if they sack Ten Hag, there's going to be someone available as interim or permanent manager that they actually rate to replace him. Now, maybe they're not even talking to other managers. Maybe Chris Wheeler's waffling. I think Chris Wheeler's one of the better sources of information, but I do feel like we get told this, we get told this, we get told this, and then we get found out it's not true. I think that, the mood is bad. We've drawn to Fenerbahce. People are calling for Ten Hag out again because they stopped when we beat Brentford. They stopped. Now the mood is bad. The reports are coming back. I don't know. INEOS are probably spoken to other managers. It would not surprise me, because when you look at where we are and you look at how we're performing, if you're INEOS, you might need to take action very soon, because if you look at where we are and how we're performing, they could take action at any point because it's not good enough. So I think INEOS are probably speaking to other managers, and you can't really blame them for that. But it's annoying because it's like they keep speaking to other managers, and then it's sort of speculation and guesswork and everything. And I don't want Xavi. I'm going to be honest. Xavi I would not want. If you want to sack Ten Hag and replace him with Xavi, for me, come on. I don't rate Xavi. Look how good Barcelona are about Xavi. For me, don't be sacking him for Xavi. We need, if they think there's a good manager in there, or someone that's at least could save the season and gets to the end of the season playing well, that's when you sack the manager, not for Xavi. It was said, according to Dean Jones, that the reality at United is that the hierarchy wants Ten Hag to succeed. They're keen to avoid the disruption and financial burden of making mid-season managerial change, while Man United are hopeful of keeping Ten Hag for the rest of the season. His tenure could still come under scrutiny if it becomes obvious that progress is not being made and he does not make up ground to ensure his team are within reasonable distance of the top-flight European positions. Bold reading that, but what that is basically saying is United hierarchy wants Ten Hag to succeed because it's going to cost us a lot of money to sack him. They spent a lot of money on him in the summer. They don't want to be reactionary and write the season off early. They're really hoping he's going to turn it around, but they might get to a point where INEOS themselves don't believe he's going to turn it around, which could come very soon, and ultimately they may just sack him. I think INEOS wants Ten Hag to get to the end of the season, have a decent season, and then I think they would sack him at the end of the season and bring in someone like Alonso or Hones or McKenna, who's probably who they want, but we can't get the mid-season, so we have to wait to the end of the season. And if it gets really bad, we just get Ruud van Nistelrooy at the end of the season as interim. I think that's what INEOS' plan is. I understand why INEOS haven't been reactionary and sacked him right away. I think if INEOS sacked him today, you couldn't argue with it. You probably have to say that's the right decision. But at the same time, I can actually understand why INEOS haven't sacked him today, even though most people would argue that's the right decision. Because I also think, well, they've spent a lot of money on him, the financial burden, they want to not be reactionary, and I kind of get that as well. So I think it's one of those where they don't want to sack him, but I think we're getting to the point where they've realised they probably are going to have to sack him unless he turns it around. And I think we're all losing belief that he's going to turn it around. And I think that's why they're looking at other managers. It was said by Laurie Whitwell, all along, INEOS have not wanted to sack Erik ten Hag. The Dutchman feels backed by the hierarchy, and I don't think they want to sack him. I think it's just a matter of can he turn it around or not, and it doesn't look like he will. Amrin and Edin Terzic are on Man United's targets according to Chris Wheeler, and Thomas Frank is once again under strong consideration at United according to Chris Wheeler. However, Muppeteers said that Terzic and Xavi are not viewed options long term, would cost 10 to 20 million to get Thomas Frank mid-season. I don't think INEOS want to spend almost 30 plus million to sack Ten Hag and bring in Thomas Frank mid-season. I don't think INEOS would want to spend 30 plus million for Thomas Frank. If I'm going to be totally honest, I think Ruud is probably interim. If Ten Hag is sacked, I think Ruud comes in as interim and we get the manager we want at the end of the season. If I'm going to be honest, the Muppeteers think Amrin and Frank is the most likely if they were going to appoint the manager mid-season, because they're probably the best two that are available mid-season. But I think all the best options are available in the summer. I think if you sack him mid-season, it's a lot of money. I think INEOS are hoping he can get by to the summer, or they might give it to Ruud van Nistelrooy. My guess would be that Ruud, if it gets really bad, I think he's got 5 games, and if these 5 games get really bad, Ruud van Nistelrooy's got interim to the end of the year, unless they find a top manager that's happy just to take the job to the end of the season. It was said that Ahmad was considering leaving on loan last January. He was told he'd play more. He didn't play, and we played force on over him. It was an absolute joke, the agenda against Ahmad. And although there's a lot of news about Alphonso Davies to Man United, it does seem unlikely, say the Muppeteers. So before I end the video, should we just check if Obi Martin scored another goal? That would be absolutely mad. He's got a hat-trick within 14 minutes. He got a hat-trick within first goal within 10 seconds, second goal within 5 minutes, third goal within 14 minutes as well. But I'm just saying, we've got Xerxes Højlund, Wheatley, Bean Cheery, and Obi Martin as our striker options. That's absolutely insane. If we fail to have a good striker in the next couple of years, I do not know what's wrong with this club. Maybe we're cursed, because I think the amount of talent we have in the academy, particularly at striker, because we were talking about Bean Cheery and his goal scoring streak the other day, is insane. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.